according to a study from Carnegie Mellon University, and that's a very high-level university.
Prestigious.
So prestigious, that's the word I was looking for. Thank you. You got to listen to their reports. Well, they say subjects with supportive spouses, they're more likely to take on potentially rewarding challenges, and those challenges that they accept, they experience personal growth and happiness. So I ask you guys, is it true the secret to your success is who you align yourself with and ultimately marry?
Absolutely. I mean, I think there's a lot of different ways of doing this, but like for all of us, like all of our careers are like a little bit uncertain. Like I don't think any of us can say like, I know for sure where I'm going to be in 3 years, or I know where I'm going to live in 5 years. Like it's so helpful to have a partner who's along with you on that ride, you know? Like I feel like I don't give it up for my man enough.
Yeah, give it up for the man.
I'm giving it up for you right now,
true.
baby.
And
Thank you for coming with me to Chicago. Thank you for moving with me to LA. Like it's so good. It just makes it easier to say yes to those experiences that you want to take, but you're like maybe scared of doing it alone. If they're with you, you're like, oh, it's going to be okay.
Yeah, I think support is huge in anything. Look, the old phrase was behind every great man is a woman standing behind him, and I think that phrase is so outdated. It's such an old, thrown away statement. What it is two people, no matter what gender it is, standing next to each other, alongside each other. When one falls behind, that one picks them up, pushes them back, and they're right there together. And I think that's when you're your strongest self. Look, the strength of two is always going to be better than the strength of one. So for me, who had been flying free and solo for so long, I was living a half life before I found the right person.
Wow.
And I think once you find that right person, you find love, you find happiness, but you find the best you, because they're not going to sit there and allow you to not utilize all your talent, all your strengths, and be your best you. So to have that person is monumental in building the life that you want to have, and I'm experiencing that. I'm very happy.
That's why I got married. I got married because I found somebody that I felt like was a good partner and somebody who pushed me to be the best version of myself. And like you, Carly, he supported me in my career. Being in journalism, a television journalist, is not an easy job. And I've moved around 4 different times so far. And so for he moved with me on the last time because he was like, we got to make this real. We got to seal the deal. We got to get serious. And I just appreciate him. It was a sacrifice that he made to support my career and my dreams. And I'm so appreciative. So I think that it's so true. And he pushes me so much. That was another thing. Like he pushes me to be the best version of myself. And I think it's really true. I mean, I think about Michelle Obama and Barack Obama. And that's what Barack Obama was saying about Michelle, how she has supported him. She supported the family, been the rock, been the foundation in their relationship. And I think we've kind of seen that, them show that to the world.
Yeah, and I think it's being devoid of ego, right? Because Michelle Obama, she is a heavyweight and a power and a force in her own right.
She was killing it before him.
Yeah, and she knew that there was times where I'm going to support him, and there's going to be times where that comes back and he's going to support me. So I think you have to be devoid of ego in a relationship.
Yes.
Because first you want to pick somebody on your level. You know, you don't want to ever settle because that person's not going to lift you up. But if
Your
you
grandparents say equally yoked.
Equally yoked, exactly. So if you pick that equally yoked person, then you're going to have to worry about ego potentially, meaning, well, if this person achieves too much success, what does that mean for me? If you're devoid of that ego, it allows you both to lift up and both push each other, knowing, hey, right now it's their moment. It's going to come back and I'm going to need them for my moment. And then you are a true force together. And I think that's a very special thing. And when you mentioned former President Barack Obama and Michelle, I think they're the perfect example of that for those relationship goals you're looking for.
It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it really is, everybody. So, all right, let's go from reality to ratchet. And it is kind of reality as well right here. Last night on the Real Housewives of Atlanta, Porsha, she had some drama. She confronted her new boyfriend and baby daddy about communicating with girls that he used to talk to. Yikes.
We have some issues here lately. I just feel like I cut off who I was talking to, you know, and then, you know, you were supposed to really cut off who you were talking to.
What?
But you didn't. So you were still being friendly.
That's not true.
Huh?
I was totally innocent. You saw the text message. That was a very insignificant conversation and didn't mean
So
nothing.
just say that, yes, I continue the insignificant conversation. I need to hear you say that because you're almost like saying it was nothing. I didn't. She was texting me. It's like it almost makes it everybody else's fault but yours.
There you go. Very uncomfortable, but very real moment because I think a lot of people in life have experienced this. Is this guy out of line? Is baby daddy out of line for having communication
It's
at
just-
all, even insignificant, as he says.
It's just hard because at the beginning, I feel like you're talking to a lot of people. Usually, it's not uncommon for you to be talking to multiple people or dating multiple people before you decide to be serious with that one person and like settle down with them. Clearly, they decided to do that ultimately. So once you've decided to be with that person, it's hard to look back and say like, oh yeah, when I was talking to you at first, I was also talking to these other people. But that's just how it is. Like until you I don't know, I feel like I'm talking in circles. But until you decide to be with that one person, you're probably talking to a few people.
Yeah.
But all that really matters is after you have that discussion, once the relationship is defined and you're together, that's when it really starts, I think.
Yeah, you're not talking in circles. You got it just right. So I think that it's important for couples to define a relationship and to be very clear. And you know, I'm the black and white person. I want to know, are we dating?
Yeah.
Yes or no? Are we boyfriend, girlfriend? Yes or no? Do you want to get married? Are we moving towards that? Yes or no? I just want to know a person's intentions. And I think a person with true intentions won't have an issue being upfront about it. I'll say the one thing about this that gives me hope is the fact that he showed her the text messages. And I think that that's someone who's trying to be in good faith and prove to you that I made a mistake, but it was somewhat innocent. Like, you're right, I didn't do what I said I was going to do, but it's somewhat innocent. So I do feel kind of good knowing that, I mean, it doesn't matter, I'm not in a relationship, but,
But would you get upset?
I feel good knowing that he showed her and he's trying to prove, like, hey, we're on the right path.
Would you get upset though, like after you had that black and white conversation where you're like, we are together from this point moving forward? Would you get upset if you look back at the text from before that?
I would be upset. It depends on what the text message says because they didn't tell us exactly what the words are in that message. So we don't know, like, was it flirtatious? Were they talking about doing intimate things together? Or were they just saying, hey, you know, how you doing?
Yeah.
Either one is not what he said he
It's
was
never
going
what
to
you
do.
want to see.
Yeah, well,
Right.
yeah, and he said it was an insignificant communication. And I think the way that you can win and ultimately appease both sides of this is have that black and white conversation. So she says, do not communicate by any means with any exes. Well, you got to decide if you're okay with that. But ultimately, if he's being honest and open, like, hey, they're sitting on the couch, he gets a text from an ex and go, hey, honey, this is Tiffany. She just texted me and said, how about the Bulls lost last night? If you are open with her, she's aware of what's going on, then you can't get in trouble. But if you
And
start
you probably
hiding
shouldn't
that
keep
stuff,
talking to that person.
but that's up for her to decide. If you guys got to then communicate that stuff.
Here's
It sounds
ano-
like Porsha has.
Yeah, here's another layer to this, guys, because I actually watched the show, and we don't have enough time to put the whole clips of all the show in here. But this woman that he was talking to actually approached her at an event that they were at. And it's like she knew exactly, well, I think she kind of knew who she was, and it ended up...
She's trying to stir the pot.
Porsha ended up getting kicked out the party because the other young lady was trying to stir the pot, but that's possibly because her boyfriend didn't shut it down. Like, this is what happens when you don't end up being direct, upfront, true, especially when you're in the public eye.
Yeah, and you got to be a team because at that point, then it makes
Yeah.
Porsha feel like, hey, look, I'm the outsider
That's
looking
exactly
in.
what happened.
I'm in this
Yeah.
position to look foolish and be tossed from a party where this woman's trying to bait me because you've allowed her into our lives and she's gotten through the fortress and she's infiltrated our love and our life. So yeah, I
exactly
think
what happened.
that's a situation where it then becomes drastically different.
Yeah.